Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Um Welcome back to another episode of There's God for That. My name is Queen B and welcome my co-host.
Hi, comedian Stacey Anderson. Hey.
Hey. So um it's like a delay, so that's why I was looking like that. So excuse me, it's a delay for me over here. But anyway, I'm gonna start the mantra off before we get into which topics that we're gonna be discussing today. So it goes: if you knew better, you'll do better. It can always be worse. Don't let the devil steal your joy. Live your super best life. In everything that you do, choose to walk in righteousness all day, every day. Put on the full armor of the Most High. Stay out of God's way. May God will be done in our lives. And I plead the blood of Jesus in everything that we do. Hallelujah. Amen. Girl, I be
Yes.
feeling like it's so new every time I say it.
You ain't by yourself. Me too. I be getting caught up like, dang. And
Mhm.
we say it all the time. It's crazy. I don't know why
Right,
that is.
right, right. So, this is so we were blessed to be able to record a second podcast in one day. So because we have busy schedules, so we just try to knock them out as much as we can. So y'all got two in one. Well, not in two in one day, but we was able to record two in one day. So, but anyway, so yeah, I guess we could just jump right into the topics for today. So, what is your topic for today that you want to discuss?
Okay. So my topic, like you said, we're doing two and one today. So
Mm-hmm.
today is Resurrection Sunday, also known as Easter. And so my topic is about if it's the holidays. And
Mm-hmm.
what if you don't celebrate holidays? Because a lot of these holidays, as a lot of people know, these holidays are pagan. And we're talking about spiritual holidays. I'm talking about spiritual holidays. They're pagan. The holidays that we celebrate here are not spiritual holidays. They're pagan holidays. But today is
Mm-hmm.
Easter, but it's really for those who are believers. It's Resurrection Sunday, the day that Christ rose from the grave. And,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why we're able to have communication with God and be able to go to heaven and spend eternity in heaven with the Most High God. So that's why this is an important spiritual day for us believers. But there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
holidays that United States celebrate and families all over celebrate. And my question
Mm-hmm.
is, how do you handle like telling your family that you don't want to participate in those pagan holidays? Do you say anything? Do you go anyway and eat? Do you not go at all? And how does your family deal with that? Now, I'm gonna start with myself. I do not celebrate holidays. Not the
Mm-hmm.
pagan holiday. My family and I, we
Mm-hmm.
celebrate holy days, but we just acknowledge the Most High every day. That's what we do. That's how we celebrate. I don't have like the Hebrew Bible to know the Hebrew calendar, to know how to do the festivals and all that stuff. I'm a believer, but I don't celebrate that deep yet. I haven't learned that. But these holidays that the United States celebrates and that my family celebrates, I don't partake in them for the most part. And for a long time, I would tell them to miss me with it. Don't call me and tell me Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas. I used to do that. Um, but now I'm older. I prayed. I took it to God, and I know that there's a way to go about that. You don't have to be ugly with it. I
Right.
know at one point in time, I had joined a religious group, and I noticed that they would separate themselves from their family totally if their family celebrated those holidays. And I didn't want that for me because a big deal for me is togetherness, family
Mm-hmm.
togetherness, and love. And that's what my Lord also wants
Mm-hmm.
for us is us for relationship, and
Right.
he gave us love. So I didn't want it to be divisive like that. I know I don't celebrate it for myself, but I've learned to maybe if invited, I will go and I will not mess up my family's celebration. It's not for me to do that, but I just for my own heart. But I don't participate at my house. So if you want to come to my house for Thanksgiving, there is no Thanksgiving here. We eat dinner every night.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. over here. Don't look for no gifts. But if you invite us to your house, then we must do what you do at your house, participate in your house. But I'm just wondering, how do people take that on? Have you ever had to deal with that, Queen Bee? Ever?
No, I have never had to deal with that because I would say that I'm the opposite of you. I was raised on these holidays. I didn't know, growing up that these were holidays that, I guess wasn't of God, or what you call it, pagan. I'm not I'm not fully understanding, the whole, not celebrating these holidays and why we shouldn't celebrate these holidays. Not that I'm not open to, do my research and see why we shouldn't, but as of right now in this moment, holidays for me are not the same how it used to be, growing up. So I really don't have to participate. But if I can, like you said, to get that chance to be with family, then I would. You know what I mean? I still participate in it, but not at 100% like how I used to. Like I don't have to celebrate the holiday like it was, back in the days. But if I can take, full advantage of, using this holiday to be with family, then yes. But I do agree, if you don't celebrate these holidays, don't be ugly, to others that still do, that's full blown still in, celebrating these holidays, because you got to look at it, this is how we were raised, this is all that we know, so to go and tell someone, yeah, you're not supposed to celebrate these holidays because such and such, and if they don't have the understanding, like I don't have the understanding, me personally, I would respond in a different way, but somebody else might look at you like, you know what I mean, like they really believe in this, like how we believe in God, and if somebody come and tell us any different about God, we gonna go hard. Some people gonna go hard for Christmas and for Thanksgiving and for all these other holidays because this is all they know. You know what I mean? So we have to, as believers, and the believers that really know the real meaning behind these holidays, if you would take the time out to, what I'm saying, to express or explain in a righteous way, maybe, the person that is in, celebrating these holidays, maybe they'll sit and think about, what you're saying, but you don't have to be ugly because that's what they choose to do. Like you said, in your household, you guys, y'all celebrate life every day. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a specific day when United States is telling you when you have to celebrate, but like I said, I'm like in and I'm out. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I don't know the full understanding of why we shouldn't, but I'm willing to learn, why we shouldn't, because of course I don't want to go against God's, way, because I am on the spiritual walk and I'm learning each and every day. So, but yeah, I never had to experience that because mostly everyone that's around me, they still do participate in these holidays. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering, like that's how I am too. Like I didn't know until I learned. And
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, you said, be kind and maybe explain it to those who are into the holidays. And I have done that in the past. And sometimes people are just like, they don't want to hear that. And that's fine.
Right.
You gotta respect that as well. And you don't wanna I've learned that because like I said, I had joined a religious group and when I found out that like they discommunicated with their family because their family did Christmas or did Thanksgiving, that was crazy to me. Like I
Right.
understand not celebrating it for yourself, but to completely discommunicate yourself from your family, that sound insane to me. In God's name, you're doing this in Jesus' name, and discommunicating with your family because they don't agree with you or with the
Right.
religion that you're with. And I just thought that was crazy. And I want to
Yeah.
be with my family as much as possible. And a lot of times, all these holidays, although pagan, those are the only times people's families come together, all of them. If it's not a holiday, it's a funeral. So it's like,
Right.
I want to come together with my family as much as I can. And I know in my heart, the holiday that I might be there with them for, I don't celebrate it, but I'm not about to ruin this togetherness. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to
Right.
separate that. So that's what I had to learn. But yeah, at my house, we don't do that. You're not gonna see no Christmas tree
Right.
ever. You're not gonna see, you're not gonna see all those um, holiday, decorations and stuff.
Decoration. Right.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna down talk the reason people come together
Mhm.
on these pagan days. Like you said, you don't know the reason why you shouldn't. You just know that it's
Right.
a come together, break bread and be merry with your family, love on each other, take pictures. And I understand that that's what we made it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the real reasons behind it is so nefarious and disgusting. But anybody who wants to know, I would say tell them not on the holiday. Tell them
Right.
separately.
Because they might be like, girl, I'm about to go get some of this mac and cheese and some of this turkey. I don't know what you talking about. Okay.
Exactly,
Let's just be
especially,
honest and real about this. And
yes.
you gonna be there too, but let me tell you why. Let me
Okay,
get some of
let's
this good food, okay?
go.
But all jokes aside, but so let me pose this question to you and to the audience. Like, how about are you open to making your own traditions? It don't have to be holidays, but it can be, whatever your family come up with, and that just be y'all annual thing that you do every year. It don't have to be about Christmas, Thanksgiving, or anything like that. Because I know I said I'm gonna ask you, but I'm gonna answer it for myself. Me personally, like I said, the holidays is not like how it used to be for me, and I can speak probably for majority of my family too. So I'm at the point where now, like when the holidays do come around, or even if it's not a holiday, I'm at the point now where I just want to make my own traditions. You know what I'm saying? My own memories, and not do what the world is telling me to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to create those for me and my family. So I'm open to that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to, like, Christmas is on what, December 25th. I don't have to celebrate. I can celebrate whatever I want to celebrate December 23rd. You know what I'm saying? I can make my own holiday, but
Yeah,
as long as it's righteous, you know what I mean, and it's not outside of God, I don't see anything wrong with that either. So what you think about that?
no. I'm all for that as well because I don't celebrate holidays. So, I mean, if I learned the holy days, that would be a different thing. But I would rather, for like, outside of my immediate family, outside of my husband and my kids, like to incorporate my sisters and all that, and my brother and my mom and all that. Yes, let's create our own tradition. Let's just come together annually, do a something. And it'll be
Right.
better if you do it not on the holidays because airline tickets is through the roof. Like everything
Mm-hmm.
is crazy at that time anyway. So why not just
Mm-hmm.
pick a random day when nobody's doing the world is working regularly and y'all just take off and do something separate and
Right.
celebrate loving each other. I'm all for that. That's a movement that needs to take place, for
Right.
real, for real.
Right. They
Yep.
bring the love back into it because, to be honest with you, these holidays are overrated, especially Christmas. Like, you have some people that would be so upset because they didn't get a gift. That is
Ooh,
not what Christmas is supposed to be about. You know what I mean? Let's get all way and deep in it. Christmas is not about, gifts. And some people really get upset if they don't get a gift. So for me, Christmas, any holiday is, I'm okay with, just like you said, I take advantage of any time I can get with family. But Christmas is overrated. And I'm pretty much
yeah,
over Christmas. Okay.
yep,
I'm over that holiday because the holidays is not supposed to be about what somebody's gonna buy you or what they're gonna get you. It's supposed to be togetherness, right? Because that's what you said. That's
mhm,
that, and I agree with what you said. That's how we made it. That's what we created. And, besides, what the real meaning behind these holidays, we as a community made it to coming together, being merry, eating, drinking, having a good time, and enjoying one another. But nowadays, baby, people get mad. And it's like, yeah, so you don't see the wickedness in that? Because why are you upset? Because I don't have a gift for you. You know what I mean? That's not what it's
yep,
supposed to be about. So
yeah,
I can kind of see why, you know what I'm saying, we shouldn't take part in these, worldly holidays because
Yeah.
I see the wickedness that can take part in it, you know?
Yep. Birthdays too. People go
Mm-hmm.
crazy. You don't get them a birthday card. You didn't tell them happy birthday online or something like that. And when you get into that point, when you feel that energy, that's a spirit. You need to go to God for that. Take it to God and tell it,
Mm-hmm.
ask the Lord to remove that from you. You know, remove that spirit off of
Right.
you, off of your family, because that's never what it's supposed to be about. And that's why they're pagan holidays and they come from something dark. And those spirits are
Mm-hmm.
able to come in and change the whole thing. Like today is Easter.
Mm-hmm.
All I see is bunnies and eggs. I don't see nobody saying only a few people are posting he is risen. Like this is a very important spiritual holy day for
Right.
believers. But non-believers use it too. And it's just bunny rabbits. Bunny rabbits, bunny
Mm-hmm.
rabbits. Like there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
spiritual in it at all. You know, everybody gets their Sunday best on, dressed up all cute, taking pictures,
Mm-hmm.
maybe going to church, maybe not, but everybody just spending money. So, but
Right.
yeah,
Right.
that was my topic. I was just wondering, like, for those people, and for those who like don't separate from your family. If you are someone who does not celebrate the holidays, and you know you celebrate holy days, don't discommunicate from your family because you letting the devil win, because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy
Right.
relationships, steal your the love from your family, and to kill everything you got going and let you be by yourself. Don't let the
Right.
devil win. Don't let those enemy spirits win. You know, just take it to God to help soothe your heart and to pray for your family that they'll come up out of the delusion of the holidays. But
Mm-hmm.
don't disconnect yourself from them. That's crazy. Don't do that. That's
Right.
insane. Just giving you a tip on what I went through. I tried it. I'm gonna let y'all know that that's just my opinion on that whole thing. But
Right.
all right, now
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get to part two of our part two podcast two for today. You know what I'm saying? We're happy about this. And Queen B, I want to know what your topic is. You know, what is your I've been trying to figure out what it was, but that's impossible.
Well, my topic is my
Oh,
topic
she got the
is
book. She got the
yes,
book,
I got a
y'all.
book because I wrote down some notes because I this is a very serious topic and it's very sensitive for me, you know. So yeah, I wrote down some notes. So my topic is um domestic violence, abuse. Yeah, that's a very touchy topic. And notice I didn't say women that's in abusive relationship because although we know that men can be in abusive relationship too or be abused, that's not a typical topic that we talk about. So I want this to be, well versatile. This is towards men and women. um One, I'm going to be very open. I have been in multiple abusive relationships. My past relationship before I got married to my husband, that was the last abusive relationship that I was in. And I'm just going to say this. In that relationship, and people probably gonna be like, you sound crazy, but I felt blessed to be in that relationship, not because of what I went through or the abuse that I took in that relationship, but because of me being in that relationship, God showed me a lot about me, and he molded me while being in that relationship, and I've learned and I've grown, in that relationship and after that relationship. So that's the part that I'm happy that I had to go through the fire, to get to where God has me now. Um the notes that I wrote down, because I know a lot of people, when you're in an abusive relationship, you don't know you don't know the signs. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Sometimes people feel like, oh, when your man is being a little, controlling, some women, they like that. That's like a turn on to them. No, any type of control that he's trying to gain or maintain over you, that is abusive. That's being abusive to
mm,
you, one way or another. So I wrote down a couple of things. Um, So if you don't know what domestic or abusive is, it's a pattern of a behavior in any relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control over your partner. So if he is telling you, like if you had plans to go out with your girls, and he's telling you or she's telling you, yeah, I don't think you should go out because I don't like what you have on. That's being abusive. That's being mentally abusive, being physically abused. Well, we already know what that is. Pushing, grabbing, punching you. I've been physically abused and it's no fun at all. So if you are with somebody that's physically putting their hands on you and not in a loving way, run. Go the
Mm,
opposite way, okay? Um, if you see the signs of him or her putting you down, making you feel belittling you, making fun of you in front of your friends and your family, that is abuse. Some people don't really think that's abuse because if they're not putting their hands on you, they really, really try to, work it out in their brain. Like, oh no, they didn't mean that. No, they meant that, and that's abuse. So, so if you oh, sorry, my alarm was going off. So if you find yourself in those situations, that is a sign of those are signs of you are in an abusive relationship. Um, Another one, telling you that you are nothing without them. Girl, you know how many times I've heard that in my last relationship? And you know what's so crazy? When you're in that type of relationship and they have you brainwashed, basically, you believe that. You actually believe that you are nothing without them. No,
mm,
you are not God. You are nothing without God. Remember that. You are nothing without God.
yeah,
Another human being that's bleed and that's come short before God each and every day, and that's going to die just like you. We are equal, okay? So therefore, you can be somebody, or you can, the point is, you are nothing without God. So if someone tell you, oh, you're nothing without me, yeah, yeah, definitely you need to move on. Um,
yeah,
so
definitely.
some
And I've heard stuff like that. I've heard, not to cut you off, but I've heard that
right.
you're nothing without me is, or you're not going to have nothing better than me. I hear
Mm-hmm.
that in music all the time. Like, one of my favorite songs from the 80s is from the SOS band. And I've heard this in a lot of songs, like, no one's gonna love you
Right.
the way I do. Nobody,
Yes, I know
nobody. You
that
know that
song.
song?
Yeah.
No, you know the song. I don't sing well, y'all, but you know what I'm saying. And it sounds rhythmic and it sounds good, but those are dropping seeds of things to
Mm-hmm.
say to somebody. And I would have never thought that until you said that. But yeah, somebody telling you no one's gonna love you like I do, no one's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be for you like I do. They're trying to mentally control you to stay. And for them to
Right.
say that, they know they are doing something to make you think about leaving. And that's why they got to
Right.
say something like that to make you stay there. So okay, I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah, you're right.
Right.
That makes
Right.
sense. I've heard it before.
Right.
Go ahead.
And
Mm-hmm.
and some other things too. And I'm just reading these things off because, like I said, some of us, we try to ration out things in our minds. Like, this is no, I'm not in an abusive relationship. He cares about me. No, no, he don't. So I know some of these things that I'm about to read off right now is what I used to do. And this is how you know that you are considered, I guess, a battered woman, or a woman or a man that's in an abusive relationship. So sometimes you feel scared of how your partner may behave. I used to be that way in my last relationship. I used to be terrified. Okay. So I would constantly make excuses to other people for his behavior. Like,
Mm.
no. Okay. Believe that you can help your partner. Now this is one too. Before I read it, I'm gonna read it. Believe that you can help your partner change if only you change something about yourself. That is the manipulation of an abuser. They will make you think that if you change who you are, it's going to change them. A
Mm-hmm.
person, a person that is an abuser, they're not going to change unless they want to change, unless God comes into their lives and, you know what I'm saying, and help them to change. Because I'm not going to say that an abuser can't change their lives, because one, I believe a person that turns into the abuser, you know, they went through something themselves. They had some type of trauma in their life, or this is like we were speaking in the last episode, generations curses, whereas this is what they grew up in. This has been gone on, it's been going on from generation to generation, and so they feel like this is how you show love, you know what I'm saying, this is how you love, and is very incorrect. But unfortunately, most people that become abusers and who are abusing, is in their sick way, in their sick mind, them controlling you or physically abusing you or verbally or emotionally abusing you, they feel like this is showing them love. And you know what's even crazier? Some women and some men feel like if they're not being abused, that that person don't love them. Why? Again, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what, yeah, this is what they seen growing up in their household. This is what they seen their mother and their father abusing their mother, and the mother is still there in the household saying, oh no, he don't mean it, you know what I'm saying, he's going to change and this and that. So as a little girl or as a little boy seeing that, they think, okay, this is love, you know what I'm saying, and then so they grow up to become that abuser because that's what they were shown, that's what they were taught, you know. But then you have some people that go the opposite way, you know, meaning like, I don't want that for my life. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that, because that tells me you have a strong mental, because you didn't fall into the generation curse. You didn't fall into what you know deep down inside is not right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, you know, you have some people that's just, I'm sorry to say, but weak minded, and they just, oh, I thought that car was about to go on this side. I'm sorry. You have some people that's just weak minded. I hate to say it in that way, but it is, because God give us the spirit to know, to decipher what's wrong and what's right, you know. And you putting your hands on someone and not in a loving way, you have to know deep down inside that that's wrong. You know what I mean? So, but my point is that if you find yourself, if you see these signs in your relationship, you are in an abusive relationship, and no one, and when I mean no one, you do not deserve to be with anyone that does not show you respect. Okay, anyone that cannot love you without hurting you, you do not need to be with them. Like I said, I was in a relationship for almost 11 years with my abuser, and it was hell. It was hell every day. Okay, it was hell. And so like I said, I'm glad that I had to go through it because I'm where I'm at, and I believe that was a part of my journey. But if it doesn't have to be a part of your journey, I pray for each and every one that is going through it, that's still in it, that God would keep you covered and He would give you the strength to leave and to do better
Yeah.
for yourself and to learn to love yourself, and to know that God did not create you to be with someone that's going to hurt you, you know, and not love you with God's love, you know, if that makes sense. So I know this is a very tough topic, because a lot of people, you know, they be embarrassed about this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And they don't want to talk about it because the world would, you know what I'm saying, is gonna judge you know. And I understand why the world would judge, because you judge something that you're not familiar with. You judge something that you don't know and that you never experienced. You never had to go through what that person go through. Yeah, you have some people, like, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like, when I was in my abusive relationship, you know, people didn't understand. Like, girl, why are you? You know what I'm saying? Why you just don't leave? And it's like, when you don't love yourself, when you don't see your value and you don't see your self worth, how you think I'm gonna leave? You know what I'm saying? At this point, I feel like I deserve it. And it sounds sick and sound crazy, but that is the truth. But I'm telling you, when God comes in and He shows you this is not what it is, and that was for me. Like the day that I decided to leave that relationship, it wasn't because He put His hands on me. You would think that would be the reason, but no. It was God. I asked God to give me the strength because I started getting tired. That's what it was. I started getting tired, and I asked God to give me the strength to leave. And I'm telling you, one day, it just said, boom, a light bulb went off. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I am
Yeah.
done with this because I had to
Amen.
ask myself, yeah, I had to ask myself, can I see myself in the next 5 years still in this mess, still dealing with what I'm dealing with? And I had to be honest with myself. And I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with this because this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is crazy,
You was done. You
and
was tired. Yeah, you was done
right,
with it.
right.
And
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, when you like God will let you make, He gives us free will and He'll let us get tired. He will not jump in and pull you out of nothing. You have to come to Him and really mean it from your heart. And you were saying like some people don't want to tell nobody that they're going through this because it's embarrassing. But then for you, you did tell people, but you felt you deserved it at that point because now you've been in it so long, you've been brainwashed to believe I deserve this. Like, where am I going? No one else, whatever your thoughts was. And for those who are on the outside and who are the friends and the family of the ones being abused, I mean, because I've been on the outside. I've never been in an abusive relationship, and I'm really sad that that happened to you. But like you said, God got you then, and you had to go through that as part of your journey, your spiritual journey. And sometimes it goes like that. I was on the outside. I had a friend, and I have a friend who's going through some things currently, and like I can hear the abuse, the mental, the emotional abuse. I can hear it in the conversations we have. Like if a
Right,
man tells you he don't want you to work because he's going to pay the bills, save your money. Save your money because what man, I mean, that sounds so sweet, but that could be part of a manipulation tactic. Because now you thinking you could just blow your money, and then one day he flipped the script and be like, get out my house. Save your money. I got all the bills. Don't worry about it. And then next thing you know, he flipped the script and tell you to get out and you don't got no money because you thought it was all good, not recognizing the manipulation. And, like you said, some people make jokes. Oh, you ugly, you fat. And it look like, oh, we just joking. But
right,
no, it's not a joke. Don't make
right,
yourself laugh at that. You not ugly. You not fat. There's another way to
right,
say that. You know what I'm saying? Or tell him that's not funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
you have to nip it in the bud right away. Cause I'll be listening to my friends who call me and tell me some things. And I'm like, what? And I
Mhm.
try to share, like, you sure? And I guess they're in the position that you were in where they don't see it
Right,
and they think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
like, and that's dangerous. Like if you are in an abusive
Mhm.
relationship and you need to get out, or your friends are trying to encourage you, don't just dismiss it. There's God for that. Take it to God and ask him to reveal it to you and show you an exit strategy. Because Queen B said
But
she was in it for 11 years, but what? Everybody don't got to stay that long, like you were saying. But go ahead.
no, no, you're absolutely right. They don't have to stay that long, and some people don't stay that long, and thank God for that. What I was gonna say is, yes, ask go. There's God for that, and ask God to help you to plan the exit. You're absolutely right. But what I'm gonna say is to that is that person. That person has to come to that point for themselves. You understand? Because I can tell a person right now that's full blown in an abusive relationship that, like, like some people that we know, because I have, friends too that's were in those situations, and they didn't see it because they're so blind, and because of their own personal issues is why they cannot get to that point of, getting out. Because like I said, you feel like you deserve this. So if you feel like you deserve this, you know what I'm saying? Whoever can tell that person you need to do this, or you sure, they ain't listening. They're not listening at
Mm-mm.
all.
Yeah.
And for us, and I can say for us now, because I am on the outside like you now, and like I said, I have a friend too. We're going through these things, and in the mix of it, because speaking on that side, like the friends and the family, I can now understand the frustration that my mama
Mm.
and my sister and other people that love me the frustration of why you cannot see what is going on. Why are you staying in a relationship like that? You know what I mean? Because it's like, why can't you see it? And
Mhm.
you just want to wring their neck and like, ugh. But it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, until they learn to love themselves and know their self-worth, until they can grow, they're gonna be stuck in that relationship. It's sad to say, but it's the truth. And there's
it's the
nothing,
truth.
yeah, it's nothing that you or I or whoever that cares about them to make them see anything different.
Take
And
it
I
to God.
pray,
You got to take it to
right,
God. You got to pray. That's the best thing you can do, no matter how long it take. But if
right.
you can't tell somebody, pray for them as often as it takes till they get out, because God will get them coming to their mind. The Holy Spirit will talk to them or make the one that they think they love do something that'll
Mhm,
just be like, okay, I had it up to here. Just like you had, Queen B. You said something, a light bulb moment. It wasn't even him putting his hands on you. It was just a random light bulb moment. And you like, I see
mhm.
it now. I got to go. And that could have been prayer. God was trying to,
It was.
God wring your neck. Like, get out of there.
It
Only
was.
God can wring your neck and make you hear. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Right. It was because like I said, like, I knew I didn't have the strength to leave, but I knew the only person that can give me the strength to leave was God. It wasn't my mother or my sister or cousin or whoever. It was God that gave me that strength because
mm,
I couldn't do it myself, and
yeah.
that's another thing. When you come to a point of being honest with yourself, because that's another thing too. When you're in an abusive relationship, you are not being honest with yourself. You are lying to yourself. And so until you can be honest with yourself, yeah, you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck. So
Mhm.
that's why I knew that the only way that I can get out of this relationship is with the help from God. So
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, all we can do as the loved ones, looking from the outside in, is just pray for them, and that's it. And it's sad to say this too. You know, if you have that friend or if you have that family member or whoever that that's in an abusive relationship, and they're calling you and draining you and knowing that they're gonna go right back to their abuser, it's harsh. It's harsh, but I'm gonna say it. You're just gonna have to let them go and just pray for them, because again, you should not have to be drained. You should
Mhm.
not have to lose your peace and be upset. You know what I mean? Because you gotta care for yourself too. I'm not saying don't, not to talk to them or not to listen to, but just you gotta know when that person is serious about what they're saying. Because when you're in an abusive relationship, like I said, when I said it to you before, you know how many times me and my ex was breaking up?
Mm.
I can't even count it. I can't even count it. So sometimes listening to that person that's in it, you cannot take what they say for truth. You just
Yeah.
can't until they remove themselves from that person completely. Like you see them moving different, you see that their life is changing, you see their fruit that's growing in their lives, and then you know that they were for real and that they're over it and they're done. But until then,
Mhm.
you can't take what an abuser say for honesty, and you can't take the person that's being abused until they know, so they can be honest with themselves. Because right now they lying to you and they lying to themselves too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
It's
just
spirits.
wanted
It's
to.
spirits on them for sure. It's
Mhm.
spirits on them. So yep, that's why. That's not, you're not talking to the person. You're talking to the
Right,
spirit. And that spirit
right,
is eating off of your energy, and yeah, and just eating off of your loved one, your friend, your family, or whoever the abuser is, because they got families too. And it's like you got a demon on you for the
right,
abuser, and you got a spirit on you, the one who gets abused. So yes,
right,
just keep praying, and protect your peace, people. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's good, because that is what. There's somebody who gets a call, like you said. How many times was you breaking up with your ex? There's somebody who gets a call like twice a day. I'm leaving
mhm,
him. I'm leaving
mhm,
her. And then the next day it's the exact same thing again. So you,
mhm.
as the family and the loved one, you got to protect your peace as well. And like you said, Queen B, it's harsh, but protect your peace and take it to God in prayer.
Right,
That way you're
right,
not leaving them, but you're not answering their calls. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So, yeah.
right, right. So, I pray that I pray that this topic helps someone because, like I said, I know it can be embarrassed for some people to speak out on it. And I just pray that, if you are ready to leave that relationship, take it to God and let God help you to, I like how you said it, to plan an exit plan, basically,
Mhm.
because it is going to take a plan to exit that relationship because I'm not going to sit here and, go all into my exit plan, but it definitely was an exit plan that it was step by step to get out of that relationship. And God guided me through all the way to the end. And I thank God that I am here today to tell, part of my story. But if you guys want me to go into it more, that would be a whole nother episode. But I just, like I said, I hope this helps someone, because abuse is serious and it's not funny. It's not a game, and, there are some people that are really scared, what I'm saying, to leave their abuser because they probably have been threatening to kill them. You know what I mean? Because people
Mm.
are crazy these days. They will kill you. You know how many times you see people on the news killing their girlfriends or their husbands because they wanted to leave? That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's
So,
serious.
yes. So I just pray for everyone and I just pray that I pray that this helps someone. So yeah. That's pretty much all that I have to say about this topic. But
Yeah. You
I hope
covered
you
it
guys
really good. That was really
mhm,
good. And then, like you said, if anybody wants to hear more, Queen B, I'm assuming is an open book. Leave it in the comments, and that could
mhm,
be just to go deeper into ways to acknowledge or to recognize signs and ways that you can take it to God in prayer and start getting your exit plan together. Because no one
yeah,
deserves that, and you wasn't created for that at all.
right, right. Amen to that, girl. Mhm. So
Mhm.
I guess we could wrap this one up. Thank you guys for supporting us and thank you for tuning in with us today. Um, please like, share, and comment. And like I said, don't be ashamed. Take it to God. And we thank you for supporting us. And we will see you
Yes.
guys in our next episode. There's God
That's
for
right.
that.
Subscribe and hit that bell. And yes, we will see
Yeah.
you next Sunday to see on There's God for That to see what other topics Queen Bee and I come up with. And like we said, drop some topic ideas in the comments. We will definitely try our best to get to them. But we do have books full of
Yes,
topics,
we
just in case
do.
y'all can't come up with nothing. We do.
Right.
We do. So on that note, we will see y'all next Sunday. Have a blessed week.
Bye.
Bye.